meeting, you for money. What my wedding will be said. In there, she tried to tell you. Mr. Commander, about what is all I said, and console. So, what you be a boy, I'm a say this treaty, and I say New York, tell me now, the marching, and I say, and ya, the couple moves after two set and console, because it would change, you know, it cannot break. But you'll be when you know it will say most of the time, no one go school upstate, you know, almost cow. Almost council, almost now, almost die, we for you and almost chance. My buyer, all the school Navy or masters, where you are all Jesus. Certainly you for you. Now, and son, I'm not. Let us say never for young man, N17 as a hymn of meditation. With the 2 year ability, rejoice, and I said, more young than I no fun.
Or how you be there and I don't give you away as you if you America came there everything was a kind of wine let a cow. Now, I was who I had testimony for them. Amen. Happy Sabbath. Happy day. Happy Sabbath. Happy day. Stand up and tell me if you love my Jesus. Stand up and tell me if you love my Lord. I want to know if you love yes, because we don't if you have bread, I know that time will call. Now I'm what dinner for Felkata. Mr. Munya Moshami, Miss Mishomuna, Mihudio, Danny, the old, the young Gontino. As much as you guys are looking at me, I'm also looking at you as well. And you see, I know what I say. So I'm waiting for a few minutes. Now, 18 awesome. Meaning that time conservation trying to tell me so. And I ain't too much. Now, as I start, the title for today's discussion, from purpose to action. And we're going to find out why. Now, and then because of Adventist Youth Day. In Crafty, Uncle Ajet, also, and then Youth Day, and I say. Now, I'm sure our uniform, is very different from what we're wearing, and we'll talk about that later. I also want to take this time to thank Queen's Church for giving us a chance to be here. So much already had I to be if I see that New York District Drill Teams, it's an uncle. Ajet kind, ya kind of mom, I Uncle why. If I see that Pastor something appear, I believe could be. Am I saying it right? Could be. And then I say, sir, what my inquiry and run answer, and that's what my inquiry in Beijing I say. And it's signed that the PF director, Pabla Ajet. Uncle Pabla Ajet, you know, I say, so what my chance to say, yang for and I say you for it mean program or more I say. Now youth department or SDA one I say Adventist a 7-day Adventist yeah also bad. Now depending on the size of the church, sometimes you can't boom. And I say also sometimes you I just want to spend a few minutes just to give the church an overview of what the departments are in our youth department. Now we adventures here 4 to 9 years old. Children's story. Most of them were wearing the uniform. There were pathfinders from 10 to 15. And I would like to say the 4 to 9 always learn a little bit about nature, they learn a little bit about God, they learn how to pray. Pathfinders, they learn survival skills, how to tie a knot, your co-count by your children, how to make a fire. They also learn doctrine, the church doctrine, and what it means to be as the ambassadors. They are between 16 and 21. They're taking on more leadership role in terms of mentoring the young youth and the young adults here, 22 to 31, or infinity, if you want to be youth forever. Now, usually this group, I'm mostly interested in because sometimes we lose them. Now, a lot of times, if we're able to captivate them and keep them in the church, I want to be your future leaders. So we can say, Uncle Otis, and I said Commander Otis, he's going to be forever a youth, but he's also, I believe, Queen's Secretary. And I am pretty sure said it is because of the training that he received from our department, which prepared him for the job that he's doing right now as a secretary, and he does it very well, just like all the master guys that are in here. Okay, so you're having Pathfinder Day in September, worldwide, which is something that was given to us from General Conference. And the title, and I said the purpose they gave us, we are created with a purpose. And I think it was beautifully put together in terms of information that they wanted to give us. Now, what we discovered from Sarah's title is that we took lessons learned from Nehemiah in terms of what was Nehemiah's purpose. And we learned that God gave Nehemiah provisions in order for him to achieve his purpose. And his purpose was to build a wall. And I said the Jerusalem wall now, or build it for 52 weeks. So from that message, I was wondering what would be a follow-up topic for today in terms of Adventist Youth Program. And I said, what should we be learning? So, once you find your purpose, I think the next step would be, what do you do with your purpose? And I said, what actions do you take? Who said, like, Yamao, for instance, Yamao information said, this is what's happening. How are you going to get there? And I said, for example, I know 7 or kindergarten, but I want to go to junior high. How do you get there? Do you just get up and you go to junior high? It doesn't happen like that. There are steps in between that you have to take. And Nuna have spent some few minutes to talk about steps. Also, we're going to look at some correlations between the book of Judges and Elijah. And now we're going to learn a little bit about God's judgment and redemption on his chosen people, because that's why we're here today. And then last but not least, I've said it, but I'm going to repeat myself again. We're going to learn how to take purpose into action. So, Isaiah, after the nation of Israel, Israel, I find, or we all find them to be an interesting group of people for a couple of reasons. Because God chose them and blessed them. And we also know that this group of people, it started with Abraham. With the covenant between God and Abraham. So I'm going to make you fathers of all nations. So we know that they are blessed. Everybody knows about that. And we also know that out of this nation, they were able to produce phenomenal young people. Just like our young people, I say amen. Amen. God has been so good to SDA Ghanaian churches at OUS. We have phenomenal young people. We have phenomenal people with skills, talents, and abilities to move our church forward. So if you look at this nation, we found out King David came out of that. Solomon came out of this nation. Jeremiah came out of this nation. Esther came out of this nation. But last but not least, the person I want to spend a few minutes to bring your attention to is Samson. You may be wondering why I chose Samson. So this guy, Samson, right? Every time I would hear this sermon and I started preaching about him, a good and a bad. It's both? Okay. If you say a bad, I'm going to go with the objective, say a bad. Usually it's bad. We use something as a metaphor for Nehemiah Obi advice now consequences that they can encounter. Usually that's what we use Samson for. A lot of preaching. Samson did this, and that's why this happened to him. Samson met this woman, and this is what happened to him, and so forth. But let's look at a little bit of a different perspective with Samson from the beginning of time in terms of what God wanted to use him for and how he came about accomplishing it, whether through trials and tribulations primarily. Let's look at him for a little bit. So, Samson Kasano, how did he get here? Oyobia na ne parents ebre and Samunyano. And he said, Obi Ohai, because they're married timely, maybe a couple of hours for so long, and they can't have a child, right? The parents, ebre and Samunyano, number one. Number two, the Bible tells us that they had a visit from an angel, right? So at that time, though, Israel for a time, I said, and I said, answer an angel, now you have to have a really close relationship with Christ. Amen. And see, this is my advice for parents. As much as we want our kids to be successful, or as much as we want our kids to be engaged in church, it starts from you. Amen? Amen. It starts from you. Because if I'm letting you anything else, you're not doing Sabbath school, you're not telling them to come to church on time, how do you expect to produce somebody like Samson. Just think about it. How do you expect to do that? We're just going to start from the life cycle to how he ended. Nim parents, set a good example for him. And also, when God chooses a family and a nation to bless, he always gives you something that you have to abide by. So for Samson, before I tell you what he had to abide by, Samson, the book of Judges said, or you're one of the judges, amen? For the Pathfinders here, I'm also going to quiz you a little bit. He was one of the 12 judges of Israel, right? And he was judging the nation. Israel on the captivity for 40 years. Now, within the 40 years, you're looking for somebody to save them. They're looking for a savior. Sometimes, right? Solve all our problems. He has solutions here. He has the skills, the talent here. Well, sometimes, God has already given some people here something to do for the church. And now I want to talk about our purpose and put it in action. So, Nyakupo, and I said, I bought for the bar a Samson parents one. And your mommy and some better now, or catch parents and so on. And I said, something has to continue to do. And so, Pathfinder for me here some input. I like to engage with the audience. I just need three answers. And I said, what did the angels tell the parents? Said Samson, ain't me yet. Yes, Nora. He couldn't cut his hair. Did you look at my slide? Okay, that's one. Two. Mr. Yes, you did. Excellent. He couldn't drink any wine. Yes, Pathfinder is one more. What kind of that? Boss. Me too. Okay, that's good. Get it out there. That's good. So, Rebecca's a foreign and that's not from his tribe or etc. So, yes, I'm all catching those three things. And he said, if you are sorry, and I will feel now, could you want to school? Mommy said, make sure says uncle how you don't hang out with them. And I said, be careful how you interact with them and etc. So there was some kind of instructions that I'm putting in mind. At the same token, said, yes, and you might know what's so, yeah. And you're connected to his strength because it was meant for him to be powerful and be a strong person. The book of Judges gave him Samson's story, and I'm just summarizing a few things. We saw that he, because of these things, he was able to kill many of the Philistines. Satan had war with each other. So Samson, having this strength, was able to do that. And he was able to provide hope to his nation and to his people. Sometimes, not Samson, he was inspiring his own parents. So we need to get into the habit that sometimes don't choose young people to inspire adults. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. And sometimes God will use the parent to inspire the child. Amen? Amen. And see, when we see that intertwined relationship now, I am questioning too much because God is at work. He knows what he's doing. Now, you share something downfall. So his weakness will be kind. With women such as Delilah. What's the Hebrew word of Delilah now, right? It just means a weak person, someone who just wants me standing for herself. It's so interesting. A lot of Jewish people, usually they live by their name. And to get something and or really consider Delilah meaning stay away from her, but he didn't. And it's another story. But besides that, because she was weak in her nature, she pulls anybody strong down. And we have to be careful as young people, as adults. Sometimes the people we interact with, there's a chance they can pull us down. And something represents something that we don't like to talk about. As strong as we are spiritually, someone can pull you down. You can be a pastor, you can be an elder, you could be a youth leader, you could be a master guide. Patches here all now, but somebody can pull you down. As strong as you are, as tall as you are, something also represents something that is also powerful here. Something that represents hope. And say, most people call you for inspiration and for money, financial needs. Something represents that. But just because someone is calling you from Ghana for something doesn't mean that person from Ghana cannot pull you down. So some of these correlations I want to talk about. We can be spiritually strong, but it is possible that someone closely, far, or wherever can also pull us down. And yet a lesson to remember. At the same token, some say FOLA really did said God intervened. One thing I love about this message, even at his dying hour, he took the opportunity to see Christ. And by seeking Christ, he was able to gain his strength again to overcome some of the challenges that he was going through. So I don't see something always in the negative light. I see something as a way I use to warn us. I think that she kind of said, I think that's what something is useful. As much as Owusu's story to criticize his personal decisions that he made, it's really also an example for God to show his sovereign power. Said, you may be standing, but there's a possibility you can fall, regardless how much we have a covenant with each other. And when you do fall, what do? You can pray, or you can connect with Christ again. And I'm going to share Isaiah 43, verse 1 through 6. How does Isaiah's story connected to Samson? So Samson, Judges. We saw the judgment that came upon Samson when he took the wrong path into bringing Delilah into his life. And we saw how that kind of gave him to his cross in terms of Philistine bringing him to destruction. At the same token, Isaiah tells us that when we fall or when judgment comes upon us now, there is redemption and there is hope. So let's look at Isaiah 43. I think the uncle Ekheim very nicely. But I want a young person to come up here for me and read it for me. So you can also understand who wants to read. Who has the Bible? So that chapter in verses 43, redemption to Israel. So I'm going back and forth, just so we can see how Nyankopon favors these people. Actually, even modern time, you share a Jewish born. Every time you meet a Jewish person, you can see God's favor in their lives. Amen? It's because, again, they've been blessed for generations. So there's no need for envy or jealousy, but this is something that God has already prophesied. And if they make a mistake, or if they get into trouble, sometimes there's a natural intervention. It's going to read you why God says these things. Yes, that's it from verse 2.
When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall.
Oh, let's go one by one, okay? So he says, when you pass through the waters, I shall be with you. So it's going connectly with Samson, right? Every time our Bible, like I said, when you pass through waters, it's more of like a transitional point. It's a place where we know that in water, in Jewish water, and that's the Jewish word for water, like dirty water. So there's something that's going to happen to you that's going to transition you to mold your character. And I'll say, I will still be with you. This is why it's very nice when when you read the Bible, you compare it to what the Jewish word is saying. But sometimes translation, it loses our English. So, with the water, how God is going to be with us.
They shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee.
Amen. Amen. So, he's saying that this means the water in the situation, even if it's unpleasant, even if you go through a trial or tribulation, you have a main subject that you want to achieve in college. Now, Uncle Emeki Point says sometimes people go to college and they don't come back. There's a reason for that. And yeah, also there right? And I said maybe they didn't achieve what they wanted to. And I said maybe where they are is a little bit better, situational wise. In the meantime, it's no back. Whatever you're going through, God said, if it's unpleasant, I will be with you. So our job is to really consider God being with us and always connecting his promise to what we need to do.
For I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee.
Amen. So, what's the Israel story now? Almost slavery, or show them how to make a conference with him. No, show them how to pray, or show them how to connect back to him. And then come up with sinning again. And and to say a time, that's what I see sweet. Your pastor, you're preaching, you're calling up where you're born and you're back. Apostle back and forth, he is still finding a way to pull us back into his arms. But there is a chance that says sometimes, it may be a cutoff for you. As I said, what happened to Samson? And now, the last result, he asked for strength. I pray, it is my prayer, that I hope we see Samson in heaven. Because I feel that towards the end time, he realized that he had made so many mistakes. I don't know, the Bible doesn't tell us, but I feel that we may see Samson in heaven. Because he realized his mistakes and he committed to God and he asked for strength, and he actually killed over 3,000 of the Philistines that day, including Delilah. So it is my prayer that we'll see him there. Amen. Amen. That's it. I'm going to cut off from there. And then you may be wondering, how is Samson and the Israel war story, how is it connected to Adventist youth? Ellen G. White said something, I thought it was very interesting. See, young men and women, God called us to do his work. Work for him. You cannot do a work that you can do a work that those who in ministry maybe cannot do. So there are people we can reach that maybe our elders can't reach. There are people that we can reach that maybe our choir leaders cannot reach. Why do we say this? There are people we engage with that are outside the church. And we use the Pathfinder ministry to bring people into the church. I have met pastors that they became SDA because one of their friends was a Pathfinder. So I said, come to our Pathfinder class. And they came and they became Pathfinders. So we have the strength, we have the knowledge to reach outside people. And we also need our young people to be engraved in the doctrine so they can be leaders in the future. Amen. Amen. Today, I was very inspired when I saw the choir singing. I didn't know Derek can sing. So this was my first time seeing Derek singing. I'm very impressed with that. I hope you continue to sing. I also saw some leaders in them, which I thought it was very impressive. So the more we do that, the more we will be able to equip our youth for the next coming, the second coming. So how do we move our action or our purpose to, how do we act on our purpose? We need to renew our relationship with Christ. We need to seek guidance from people who are already in that relationship. We need to look for mentors. We need to assess our talents. What do we do really well? Is it playing the piano? Is it cleaning? Is it preaching? Is it singing? Is it taking care of the technology behind? We don't need someone to tell us that you have this position so you can go ahead and do it. And that is what my message for you as youth. Don't wait to be called. Sometimes God calls you without you even knowing. Sometimes you walk with people and you find something that you like. We have a commander here. But you remember that story, I'm so sorry. He's our commander in training, and we hope to see him train other people as well. I'm going to use myself as an example. So when I met Uncle Otis, I was very impressed with what he was doing in terms of commanding. He didn't tell me that he's going to teach me how to command. I just started following him. And now Otis I just started following him. So maybe they said, Otis, how did you do that? Why did you say that? I said, I think so. I think somebody had a crown. But I'm very happy to say that I have learned how to mimic what he's doing, and I am inspired by what he's doing. And sometimes, that's all you need. If you see someone that you feel like what they're doing is attractive to you, you just follow their steps. And I would say that for a number of youth that are here. I see them following Uncle Kwame, Uncle Ajet as well. And that is how we build the next generation to move from purpose to action. And also with whatever you have a passion for, that's what we do. I've mentioned some of these already. We have a few people that are interested in playing the piano, doing drilling and marching, evangelism. A lot of our young adults from 21 to 31 are doing campusing. They want to do evangelism in other countries. Let's encourage our Ghanaian youth to do the same as well. There is a time we need a new generation of people to start doing adventism or evangelism in other places of the world. This is your opportunity to do that, especially if you're in high school, you need an internship, or you're in college and you need a credit here and there. It's not always an opportunity for you to be working in a business environment or not. Sometimes it's an opportunity to do God's will, and you could be doing something that inspires someone to go to heaven. Amen? Amen. Here's our master guides at Yekushao camp meeting. It's very beautiful where we have our uniforms on. My only information I want to add to this picture is that Yekushao camp meeting, you saw how many young people were at the camp. Not all of them were wearing uniform. And even in our churches, we realize that a lot of our young people are becoming like Samson. Unfortunately, we know people are drifting little by little. As an older woman, now what do worst of the worst, like Samson? That's why I chose Samson's story. 5-10 years, no more mastery. 6 years, no more mastery. The number of SDA Ghanaians that are not SDA anymore is remarkable. If we're doing an audit at every church we will cry because we're becoming like Samson. Why are we losing our young people? This is the department that we train young people. I'm very sure it is because of the youth training you received in Ghana or here, that's why you're still in church. Anka wanko AY or Ghana, and I said one shia will be and Odobaya Akauni has said. This is the reason why we're losing our kids. And I'm sad to say this. I'm not saying Queen's a hat. I'm just making a general term. Unfortunately, most of adults are forgetting the kids. Our priorities are not the kids. We have other agendas. And as sad as it is, we can build the biggest castle for churches and we can do all these things. But if we don't have the youth, we don't have anything. It's very sad. It's very sad how many kids are coming and how many kids we're losing. And see, today, my charge to the adults and the kids, be scared of that. If you don't see your kid wearing a uniform, be scared of that. The only reason why I went to school and I came back and I'm still wearing the uniform uniform is because I was wearing it before I left. If I wasn't wearing it, why would I want to come back and wear it? It doesn't make no sense. How many of Ellen G. White books are they reading at home? We are so focused on degree ben or college. We are so focused on school ben na. We are so focused on atari ben na UDP, party and fan. What do we ask our kids at home? Did you read your Cornerstone book? Gone are the days. I remember when I was a kid. Gone are the days. School all the youth are debating on what we read about the Bible. It's gone. It's very sad. The kids are running around to get them. And I will for you feel there is some credits. And easy. It is not an easy job. It's like babysitting, you're preaching, you're a parent, you're a counselor, and you take on all sorts of hats. Most of our churches have one youth leader, we have two. And how many kids? 20, 15. It's not easy. We need parents to be also supportive of our department. We need parents to see that if the child is disrespecting the adult or the youth leader now, we need parents to back us up. Because what we're doing is for your own sake. Because we want your kids to be inspired by Christ. So they can also lead when the time comes. Amen. Amen. Something. The Samson story, we always focus on Delilah. That's a big mistake. Delilah was just a factor that came in the window. Delilah could have been Ajua, it could be Rita, it could be Agusia. Delilah is not the story that God wants us to remember. The story about Samson is his childhood, the house he came from, his purpose that he needed to meet, and how he himself turned against his purpose because he wanted to fulfill his own passions. And that is what's happening to our kids. We're losing them because they're fulfilling their own passions. I know saying it easy. I know that sometimes our parents are going to reach out to the kids and it's going to be hard to reach them. But as young as they are, from 6, 10, 18, you have most of the control. If you're allowing them not to be part of the youth department and learning about your church and your doctrine, how do you expect your child to learn when they're 31, 40, when they're thinking about other matters? Let's consider that as a factor into why our kids are leaving the church. These are our kids from Queens, Ghana. This is a picture we took from our marching event in the summertime. It was amazing. We need the youth or the Ghanaian Queens youth to continue to strive for excellence, to continue to wear your uniform wherever you go. At this particular event, we had 4 non-7-day Adventist parents approach us, and they said, "What is this all about? What does it mean? What does it signify?" It means that what we have on has a purpose. And we can also speak about our purpose to other people when we meet them outside. This is not Bronx, our camp meeting, as you all witness, and also some of the other churches, but mostly not Bronx. We need you to be committed to the cause. We need you to practice consistently and take on leadership roles as we move forward. This is Yonkers. We have 1 or 2 people from Yonkers. Yonkers from where they don't really have a Pathfinder club. So, Queens, as they know, Pathfinder club, yeah. You should be lucky to be part of this group of young people. But it doesn't mean that they can't join other organizations that are SDA or Ghanaian. One thing that I love about church is that any church at SDA, you can just jump right in. We know how we do procedure from beginning to end. So let's encourage this unity to continue for even churches that may not have a Pathfinder club. This is Long Island. I believe this is our investiture this year. God is being so good. This is how many kids they were able to induct into our cause. And I'm sure it's helping. Uncle Abraham can testify to this. It's not because you're sharing uniform all the time and we want to play drums. It means more than that. We are training people to be soldiers, to be like Samson. So Samson can fight the Philistines. Believe it or not, your kids are at war every day. When they go to school, there's an influence to use drugs. There's an influence to behave a certain way. There's an influence of things like, and here we don't want our kids to know. There are lesbianism, gayism, they see it. Don't be surprised I'm saying this, because it's happening even in their schools. They are at war. This is where we train our kids to be soldiers, so they can fight this war. So if your child is not part of it, you have a problem. This is First Ghana, where we all began in terms of our cause, our Pathfinder cause, Ghanaians in the U.S. We need leaders to also mentor other people from what you have learned. How many people here know this guy here? Right? Who's this guy? Okay, thank you. Why are they? You passed. So, he said it very beautifully for me. Why do you think I chose him to end this message right now? So we all know about Abraham Lincoln. But let me tell you one thing about Abraham Lincoln I think is directly connected to Samson. So Abraham Lincoln is somebody I admire. Abraham Lincoln, let me tell you something. 1832, he lost his job, his first job. There's a reason for that. 1833, he failed in business. No, say, okay, I lose my job, I got fired. My man started my own business, my own gig. He got fired. Or he failed, he didn't have customers. 1835, the long-time sweetheart, and as Mecca said, the high school love, died. 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. Have you met someone with a nervous breakdown? It's not a good sign. Young guy, when you have a nervous breakdown. 1838, he was defeated for speaker. He wanted to run in the House, and he was defeated. 1843, he was defeated for nomination for Congress. 1848, he lost the nomination. He got a nomination, he lost. 1849, he was rejected for laird officer. I guess that's what he wanted to do. 1854, he was defeated for U.S. Senate. He fails. That's just the pattern. 1856, he was defeated for nomination for vice president. 1858, again, he was defeated for U.S. Senate. The life story is so sad and devastating. Year after year, failure and failure and failure and failure. And then finally, 1860, he was elected the 16th President of the United States of America. So the reason why I chose him for the closing of this message, if you're like him and you're feeling defeated, or if you're part of the Pathfinder Club and you feel like you cannot continue, Abraham Lincoln's story is a testimony to all of us, regardless of where we are in life. Failure doesn't mean close for God. Failure doesn't mean that if you don't have a comeback or you're not meeting your purpose. Akobia Bekashan said, "Since I fail, forget about politics." Amen. Because I don't know about you, coming Abraham Lincoln, my failure 4 or 5 times that I will not be continuing a political agenda. I think it's not for me. But he kept pursuing and pursuing and pursuing and pursuing. The reason why I'm saying this, we are seeing that the Pathfinder Club everywhere is declining. We are seeing a significant number of people dropping out. But we're going to pursue to keep going, amen? We're going to keep marching. We're going to keep recruiting. If you join, it's for your good. If you don't, you may end up like Samson, who pushed away from his true calling. So my message for you is, if you didn't hear anything this afternoon about any of the coalitions that I made, I want you to know that you need to activate your purpose, just like Abraham Lincoln did. And finally, he became President of the United States, which he accomplished so much that I'm not going to go into right now. You're going to make mistakes along the way. It's okay. Just like Samson. You're going to get setbacks. People are going to laugh at you. You're not going to pass every exam that you take. You're not going to win every game that you play. You're going to have distractions, internally and externally, even sometimes from your own family members. But there's always a great comeback for all of us, for us to achieve. Only if you believe in yourself. If it's a calling, if it's a purpose that God gave you to do or achieve, I am pretty sure that you can move forward and achieve that goal. But make sure your goals are aligned with what God wants you to achieve. It's not because you want to achieve it to impress people, but it's really what God wants you to do. Just like Samson, killing about 3,000 Philistines at the last hour of his breath. And even though he took himself there, God gave him the strength to overcome it. I want Samson's story to be a testimony that we can also make it. It's not only about Delilah and his choices that he made. It's because he came from a good home. But then he made a mistake. But even with the mistake, he looked back and remembered God. I pray, and it's my prayer, that we will continue to be pathfinders and we will continue to be master guides, or we will continue to teach other people to become master guides. And by next year or 2 years, I will see more master guides here. If you can all stand with me and we'll pray to close, that would be great. Let's pray. Our merciful Father, thank you again for this day. We thank you for having wonderful parents who care enough about us to bring us to church every single day. We ask that whatever purpose you have for us to accomplish, you will help us dream about it. You will help give us mentors that will help us reveal your purpose. You will help us work towards the purpose that you want us to achieve for your church, for your family, and for ourselves. We ask that if we are going against your purpose, if we're making decisions or we're going towards things that are not in line with our purpose, please bring us back so we can make an influence on others and also our community and our friends. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And you can save you. Amen. Putting our purpose to action. We can say, you'll see, our greatest enemy is fear. If you have fear, or you have fear of something, you will never achieve. But God says, fear not, for I am with you. Amen. Amen. Never anyone on here. Hymn number 359. Have the voice of Jesus calling.